Tigers of LSU are national champions for the 8th time in program history, the 2nd time in 3 years. Let's freaking go! 5-3 over Coastal Carolina, 2-game sweep. Smash the like button. It's Musso at the box. There is so much to get into from that game, but just an overall congratulations to Jay Johnson, to Nate Yeske, to that entire coaching staff, to every player on that team. What a season. What a season for that ball club. You know, it's funny. We're sitting right here on this balcony last night talking about the game, going through things and looking at it and saying, you know what, they're going to get number 8 tomorrow. It's going to happen. And it feels a little odd because the last 2 championship teams that LSU has had, they have been the best team in the country all year. They've dominated things all year long. The 09 team was preseason number 1. They finished number 1. The 2023 team was preseason number 1. They finished number 1. Neither of those teams really showed chinks in the armor. This team did at times. There were moments in the season where you looked at it and said, man, that could be an Achilles heel for this ball club. And ultimately, they overcame all of it. This team showed tremendous toughness. This team showed tremendous grit throughout the entirety of the season. And I'll tell you, really, for me, when that started, it was game number 1 against Tennessee. When they came from and put up 6 runs in the 9th inning and came from behind in that ball game, that's where it really started for me with this team. And after that point, they just continued to do it, whether it was against Arkansas, in Omaha, or in the regular season. Throughout the course, they overcame all of it. And now they stand atop the college baseball mountain once again, national champions for the 8th time in school history. And the 2nd time in 3 years. They weren't the best from start to finish. They had some low moments, but what they were was incredibly consistent. They were incredibly together, and they've said it all year. They had the right guys on the bus. They had the right guys on the bus, and that's the big difference. Cheers. Cheers to everybody. That's the big difference from a year ago, where LSU goes to Hoover and they're fighting to get into the tournament. And they did. And they damn near won that regional, and they would have been in Omaha if they won that regional. But ultimately, you didn't. You fell short. And they were very aware of what they needed to address on that ball club. Not just on the field, but off of it, with character, with toughness, with everything of that nature. And you go and you get Ianson, you get Cowan, you get Dickinson. Like, when I look back at this LSU team, I will see they hit in the portal. In 23, you hit in the portal. In 24, you didn't. Call it what it is. You had a few guys that were good, but overall, you didn't hit. In 2025, you hit. And they brought so much more than just the on-the-field aspect of it. That is the most together you can see a team. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal from LSU in 2025. And it has them standing on the top of the college baseball mountain once again. And you know what? I remember in 23, we weren't doing the YouTube thing, but the podcast was rolling. And in 23, after they won the national championship, I was hungover as hell the next morning doing the podcast. But one thing you could just see one thing you could just see is that they were going to get back. Jay Johnson, it felt like he had more in the tank, and he was hungry. And Jay Johnson himself, after LSU wins the national championship, he's told this story a bunch. Like, was it 2 days after they get back? 2 days after they get back? He's in the airport, and LSU fans are like, man, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to do it again. I'm trying to have that feeling again. And I knew they'd get back. That's why in 2023, when we're reacting to that title, it's like, man, you feel this way every time your team wins one. And they talk about it on the broadcast all the time. Like, oh, they got this guy coming back. They've got that guy coming back. The future is bright, all of that. It doesn't matter who you are. Whenever you win a national championship, that's always the mindset. But you could just feel it differently with LSU. And I knew they'd get back. I didn't think they'd get back that fast. 2 and 3 years, I didn't see. Jay Johnson is not only a hell of a program builder, he is not only a hell of a recruiter, he is not only a relentless and tireless worker, that man is a hell of a baseball coach. And if anybody ever tries to tell you different, they don't know what they're talking about. It's that simple. That man pushed all the right buttons all year long, whether it was the platoon and right, whether it was moving Shores to the bullpen, whether it was moving Milam to shortstop, pick anything. He hit the right buttons every single time this year, and that is as big of a reason that they are standing there with that trophy than anything else. The guy can coach his ass off, and he has a great feel for his team, and he had that in 2025. And that was evident from February 14th when they threw out the first pitch against Purdue-Fort Wayne. It was evident then, and it showed all the way throughout the postseason, all the way throughout the regular season, en route to the program's 8th national championship. There's a lot of y'all who on Twitter incessantly, and you know who you are, and it's not just LSU fans. Oh, Jay Johnson, he can't win without Paul Skeens. How's that freaking taste right now, huh? It's a bad day for you. It's a real bad day for that crowd, because one thing's for sure about LSU and LSU fans, they're obnoxious, they're arrogant, and they let you hear it regardless of if you deserve to hear it or not. A lot of you, whether you're LSU fans or not, who said that garbage, you deserve to hear it, and you're going to frickin' hear it. LSU's got USC's 12 straight in their frickin' crosshairs, and they're not going to stop until they get there, until LSU gets to 13, and that's where they're heading. This team, this program, they are headed for the most national championships in college baseball history. I'm not telling you it's going to happen in this decade. I'm not telling you it's going to happen in the next 20 years, but it will eventually happen, because it doesn't matter who you bring in. They get stronger and stronger as a program. And they're not stopping yet. Let's freaking go. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the game. On Saturday night, LSU, Cade Anderson goes out there, shoves it down Coastal's throat. CG shut piece. Loved it. You won it 1-0. Sat here and said, how does Coastal respond? They hadn't lost the game since April the 22nd. That's a long time, and that's a really good baseball team. That's a really good baseball team. But how do you respond? That's a long time to go without losing a game, y'all. Long time without you losing a game. But you know what? They had their ace on the mound. They have Jacob Morrison. That's exactly what they're looking for, right? And I'll be damned, he just looked uncomfortable from jump. Whether it was the pitch comm issues, whatever it was, he looked uncomfortable for jump. Their coach, and we could talk about the ejection because my opinion differs from a lot of people on that. But in the grand scheme of things, he let his emotions get the best of him. He felt the pressure. That's a first-year head coach who had the hottest team in the nation. You finally got knocked down, and he let his emotions get the best of him in that moment. That's a sign. LSU, no such problem. No such problem in that. And that's huge as well, because when we talked about Coastal and how they would respond, the other thing we talked about was how LSU would respond. This is a team that, since that regional final against Little Rock, when you lost, has closed out everybody now the first chance you've had to do it. Whether it was West Virginia in the Super, whether it was Arkansas on Wednesday night, and then obviously Coastal Carolina on Sunday afternoon in Omaha. That is a team that has been there before. It's like, to me, it is really quite that. It's that simple. When you're able to do that and learn from the mishaps, that's a team that has been there before. LSU, this is a great point by Go 13 Saints. Big man, stick to baseball and LSU football. Might not want to watch the Saints season this year. Anyway, I don't want to watch the Saints season this year. I will, but I don't want to. He says LSU went 5-0 in the College World Series. And that's significant for a lot of reasons. First of all, LSU didn't just go 5-0 in the College World Series. LSU ended up winning 7 games in a row. No, I'm sorry, 8 games in a row after dropping the Sunday game to Little Rock. They ended on an 8-game losing streak. After this team had a 17-game winning streak earlier, they end on an 8-game winning streak. Shows the consistency of the club. But Go 13 Saints, the other thing they did is LSU faced 3 teams that were undefeated in postseason ball, and they beat them all. They beat them all. Arkansas was undefeated. UCLA was undefeated. Coastal Carolina was undefeated. LSU beat them all. So you look at the first inning, and teams trade zeros. Both guys, a little bit of a, rocky first, a lot of pitches, things of that nature. That cloud behind me, hate that. And then Coastal Carolina, to their credit, they hoof a ball right inside the foul pole, down the left field line. They take the lead 1-0. But something we've talked about all freaking season long, man, with this LSU team is the immediate response on offense. And I'll be damned, it was there in the 3rd inning. Danny Dickinson leads it off with a single. You have the sack bunt from Braswell to move him into scoring position. You have a fly out from Curiel. And just when it looks like, oh, man, here we go, you gave up and out, Ethan Fry comes up, doubles, and LSU ties the game. And it was so big for Ethan Fry. Ethan Fry came into this game 2 out of 14 in the College World Series. A kid who was dominant at the plate for the large majority of this, and a very welcome sign on offense for LSU was 2 out of 14 coming into this game. Going into that at bat, he was 2 out of 15, and I'll be damned, he comes through. And not only does he come through, he ends up 3 out of 5 on the day, does Ethan Fry. 3 out of 5 on the day, and he drove in that run, that one run. But just a great moment for Fry, and you love to see, You love to see the immediate response. And then you know what? Credit to Anthony Ianson. Ianson goes right back out there, faces 4, gets out of it. And then LSU in the 4th inning. Jake Brown leads off with the walk. Jared Jones singles. Hernandez is hit. And you have the bases loaded with nobody out. And then Chris Stanfield, who likewise came into this ballgame with 2 hits in the College World Series, and he hit the ball hard in that first at bat. Credit the first baseman, he caught it. Stanfield singles to left and drives in 2, gives LSU a 3-run lead. Then Dickinson comes up and sack bunts, and I hated that call. I thought that was absolutely terrible. You had the pitcher on the ropes. I didn't like that. You're also bringing Braswell up, who I love that he got the hit later, and we'll talk about that. But that was just a real curious spot to execute what they did. And you end up giving up the out. Braswell has an infield pop-up. But then Derek Curiel, who's just been huge for LSU all season, especially in spots like that. Derek Curiel drove in 55 runs this season, y'all. Large majority of those out of the leadoff spot. That speaks to how well LSU did all season long, turning the lineup over to get to him. And in that spot, he delivers hard single, puts LSU up 5-1. And from that point forward, it was just about throwing strikes for LSU. But that 4th inning, you highlight it because obviously you put up 4, but it was 4 runs on 4 hits. We talked all week long about Coastal. They don't string things together. They don't have that ability to string things together. They rely on walks and hit by pitch and things of that nature. LSU has the ability to string things together, and they did it in that 4th inning. It was the difference in the ballgame. Anthony Ianson. Just bravo, Anthony Ianson. He was magnificent all season long. The big thing for him on Sunday, he came out of the bullpen to the game mound with the breaking ball. That thing fed families today from Anthony Ianson. That curveball was absolutely filthy at all times. At all times from Anthony Ianson. He ends up giving you 6 1/3 innings. 6 1/3 innings. Punches out 9. Scattered 7 hits. 68 strikes on 99 pitches. He was magnificent. He gets his 12th win of the year. Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson are the best 1-2 in LSU history, in my opinion. And you've had some really good ones. But when you look at both those guys winning 12 games, each of them 12-game winners, each of them top three in the nation in strikeouts. You saw in the game the list of guys they put up: Bauer and Cole, Leiter and Rocker, the 2 kids from Rice who won a national championship. There wasn't another LSU group up there. They are the best 1-2 punch in LSU history. I loved that they interviewed both of them after the game. I loved the shot of William Schmidt hanging out in the hallway with those 2. That's a kid who understands. If I'm going to take the jump in 2026, I need to learn from these guys. And he did. And I love seeing that. But Anthony Ianson did on Sunday what he has done all season long for LSU. He went out there and shoved. I thought they pulled him at the perfect time. But Ianson and Anderson, they will go down in history, y'all. They are the best 1-2 in LSU history. Best 1-2 in LSU history. Just incredible. You rode them to a national championship. 2 all-time greats that will be remembered forever in LSU lore. How about that, y'all? Those are the last two outings. The last two outings for those kids in an LSU uniform. And you go CG shut piece if you're Anderson, and 6 1/3 with 9 punchies if you're Ianson. And both of them get their 12th win. No, I am not at Portofino, although great spot. Not there. We are in Destin, a little Emerald Coast. Probably the best place to take in an LSU national championship outside of Omaha. Great beach day today. Short-lived. Had to come up for the game. But fantastic. Absolutely awesome. This is where you can find me this week of June every year. This is where we are as a family, and it's great. Back to the baseball, though. Hold tight. Got to get a swig here. Goes down smooth. Go Tigers. Chase Shores. Holy cow. 2 1/3, shutout, gives up the 1 hit, doesn't walk anybody, 4 Ks. That's great. You know what my favorite part of Chase Shores' outing was? He threw 28 pitches, and 22 of them were strikes. Against West Virginia, when he closed it out in the Super Regional, that was the best Chase Shores has ever looked in an LSU uniform until Sunday. Sunday was the best that Chase Shores has ever looked in an LSU uniform. You want to talk about walk-off performances? How about that one for Chase Shores? Go get your money, kid. Throwing 101 past those boys with an absolutely wipeout slider. And the emergence of Chase Shores in the bullpen down the stretch for LSU was as big as anything. It was as big as anything for the Tigers this year. And you know what? I will really point to the A&M series where I really started to see it. And then you come back home the next weekend against Arkansas. He pitches twice in that series and was great in both times. And it really led to LSU winning that weekend. And that's just fantastic and magnificent what that young man was able to do in a new role. And you know what? They'll get him at the next level, and they'll try to make him a starter and whatnot. I don't know really why or how you do that, seeing what you've seen from him, seeing what you saw from him down the stretch this season from LSU. That was a really key cog. We always wanted to be like, okay, you know what? You got to make a move in that third starter spot, right? That was a huge topic of conversation this season. And every time anyone wanted to bring it up, I said, you got to have somebody emerge in order to do that. I'll be damned. It was Chase Shores, your third starter, who emerged in that role in the bullpen. And sometimes that's just how it happens. But there's so many guys who were heroes for LSU down the stretch. Chase Shores is one of them. Hell, Zach Cowan is one of them, y'all. That outing on Wednesday night, like you go back to that. Any great postseason run that results in a championship, it's never just one guy. Again, look at Fry and Stanfield. Fry and Stanfield drove in 3 out of your 5 runs in this game. It each had 2 hits in Omaha coming into this weekend. That's huge. That's massive. Like, that's what you want. They finally had their moment. Michael Braswell, who was nails all year defensively at third, gets his moment with the base hit. You love to see. He got stranded. He didn't come around. That stinks, but he got that moment. And a major hat tip to all the LSU fans in Omaha for giving that kid his flowers, encouraging him time and time again when he came up to the plate. That's awesome. And he was absolutely massive defensively all weekend in that series and all season. But definitely all weekend. Jay Johnson's Orange Juice asked if you get Shores back. No, he's gone. Jay Shores is going to get drafted and probably in the top 5 rounds, and he's going to go make a lot of money. He's 6'8", throws 101 with a wipeout slider. That guy's not coming back. So many unsung heroes. Luis Hernandez. Y'all, I try not to backpat a lot on this show, but I know damn sure I was talking about Luis Hernandez in the month of March and April when nobody else was and calling him the X factor on this team. And it was really easy to see. That kid got big hit after big hit after big hit for LSU. You want to run through him again? Whether it was the tying home run against Missouri, the go-ahead home run against Texas. He had all those doubles at Oklahoma that helped score runs for you there. Hernandez was great all freaking year. He was big in that Arkansas series. Luis Hernandez was. He was big against Tennessee. He was huge against Little Rock. He was big in Omaha. Luis Hernandez hit damn near 350. He might have actually hit over 350 in the postseason. Luis Hernandez was one of the biggest X factors on this team, and you need that if you're going to make the run that LSU just made. And I'm going to tell you right now, one thing I'm going to want to look at, that was a giant strike of lightning. Holy crap. One thing that I'm going to look at, and we're all going to look at from here until they take the field in fall, and then after when they take the field in fall, when they take the field in spring. Cornholio, I have an open beer here, buddy. Chill out. We're hype. We're plenty hype. And when they play that season is why is 2026 different than 2024 was? And I'll tell you right now why I think it will be different. You got a lot of guys coming back from this team, more than you did then. You're going to lose some guys, but you got Milam. You got Brown. You got Curiel. You got Aaron Beatty. I know he didn't play a lot, but he was in that dugout. You got Evans. You got Schmidt. You got Rizzi. All those guys that Jay Johnson continually said, we got the right guys on the bus. They have the right character. They're right for this team. They're coming back. And you just didn't have that in 2024. You lost 13 players to the draft. You're not doing that this time. You're not doing that this time. Doug for the win in the chat. Nate Yeske deserves his flowers for what he did with this pitching staff. You damn right he does. You damn right he does. Halfway through the guy's first season, many wanted to fire him, and you know who you are. And you came back this year early and wanted to fire him. Oh, he doesn't develop guys. Oh, they can't throw strikes. All this crap. Doesn't develop guys. Kate Anderson. Chase Shores. Oh, we can keep going. Look, Cooper Williams was able to give you as a freshman down the stretch. You damn right. Great point by Doug. You damn right. Nate Yeske deserves his flowers. He's the best freaking pitching coach in the country. Has been for a long time. You should be fired up that guy's wearing the purple and the gold. Fired up. And, by the way, Duke went and hired a guy, so Josh Jordan should be back. Staff continuity was a huge, huge deal for this team. It was the first season out of 4 that Jay Johnson had his staff back. We talked about that in the preseason. Did a whole show on it. And that was massive for this team. And you have a good shot to have those guys back again. We'll see if any other jobs come open, but it's pretty late in the cycle right now for Josh Jordan to get hired away. That's huge moving forward for 26. I saw somebody ask, does Fry come back? He's going to have a really interesting decision to make, but I wouldn't put it past him to be back here. If Ethan Fry can come back, play first base, show he has a position, hit 330 again, get those 13 homers up to 18, 19, maybe 20, he has a chance to make himself some money. But first and foremost, you should bring back your staff, and you're going to bring back a lot of the core from this team. 26 should be much different than 24 was. Get ready, y'all. I don't think he's done winning them yet. 2 in 3 years. Jay Johnson just put himself in, when it comes to LSU, up there with Skip Bertman. They're the only coaches to win multiple national championships at LSU. They're the only coaches to win 2 in 3 years. I don't think he's done. Why would he be? Like, that's a mouthful. I get it. But look at the winning percentage. The winning percentage is actually probably better because Skip had to build a program, and he gets all the credit, and he's the GOAT, and no one's ever going to surpass him. But Jay just won 2 in 3 years. Skip's the only other guy at LSU ever done that. Jay's got 2 championships. Skip's the only other guy. Y'all go to the Baton Rouge airport on Tuesday, Wednesday. See if you don't see Jay Johnson flying out to go find some recruits. He's going to want to go do it again. And he will. And he will. He will do it again. The dynasty is back. Like that. That's probably my biggest takeaway. It's back. You know, it was funny. Ben McKee, he covers Tennessee. He does a great job. Ben does a fantastic job at covering Tennessee baseball. He's a really good baseball guy. And he posted Tennessee got this big recruit. High school kid. And Ben posted a quote from him, just doing his job. Like, this isn't a shot at Ben McKee. He does a great job. This is going to be a shot at the kid from Tennessee who committed there. Let me be clear. It's going to be a shot at this kid. I don't remember his name because that's insignificant in this conversation. The kid's quote was something to the effect of, because he chose Tennessee over LSU. And it was, Tennessee's been the best program in college baseball. A lot of people want to say LSU, but hands down, it's been Tennessee the last 4 seasons. Hey, pal, LSU's won 2 of the last 4 national championships. How's that feel for you, buddy? Enjoy Knoxville. Ha! Let's frickin' go, man. Let's frickin' go. You absolutely love to see it. Be cool. No, not Pensacola. Destin. We're in Destin. Number 8. 2 in 3 years. Standard of college baseball. The powerhouse of college baseball. The dynasty. LSU has been to Omaha 20 times. They have won 8 national championships. That means, for you math people out there, that LSU has won the national championship 40% of the time they have made it to Omaha. That is insane. That is insane. They're coming for USC's 12. I'm telling you, they're coming for USC's 12. They aren't going to stop. They aren't going to stop until they get there. And how about the vindication for Jay Johnson beating Coastal Carolina? That's awesome. He was never going to admit that. He was never going to admit that leading into this series. That meant something extra to him. That meant something extra to him against that team, not only for this LSU team, but for his former players at Arizona. It meant something to him there. And I love that he got it, and I love that he got it in dominant fashion. Yo, LSU trailed. LSU trailed for all of 2 outs. All of 2 outs in this championship series. That is dominant. And the difference to me, timely hitting. LSU hit over 350 with runners in scoring position in the NCAA tournament. Timely hitting. That's what matters. That's what can win in that ballpark. I thought LSU's approach at the plate was significantly better on Sunday than it was Saturday. They were aggressive and early against Morrison. And damn it, you knocked him out of the game in what? The 4th inning. 3 2/3, and you were still able to run his pitch count up. But you were aggressive early in counts because the kid throws strikes. Loved that. Wish that happened against Fluky. But you trailed for all of 2 outs over 2 games. And that's a great testament to your starting pitching and your pitching as a whole. That was my key. That was my whole key. Why I said I like LSU in 2. You wanted to talk about Coastal playing in the Sun Belt? It wasn't because of their pitchers. It's because their lineup had never seen 2 arms back-to-back like Anderson and Ianson. And that lineup, for all the great West Coast offense tendencies that they have, and there are plenty, that lineup strikes out in 25% of their at-bats. And you are facing 2 guys who were top 3 in the nation in strikeouts. And Anderson and Ianson struck out 19 hitters over the course of their 2 outings. That was huge. It was huge in that ballgame. Dominant effort. And not only was LSU's approach to the plate better, their approach just in terms of staying in character. Staying in character in this series. They weren't trying to launch the ball out of the park. They understood with that wind blowing in, your best path is hard, not far. Low and hard on a line. And you saw that constantly. From LSU. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. I want to go find this guy's name because he asked who is our MVP for the College World Series. It was John. It's Cade Anderson. And I'm sure Cade Anderson won Most Outstanding Player anyway by the media, but it's Anderson. I mean, I tweeted it last night, his numbers in the World Series. Let me pull it up so I can get it correct here. Cade Anderson in the College World Series. He made 2 starts. He pitched 16 innings, had an ERA of 0.56. He struck out 17, had a CG shut piece, and a 2-0 record. He's an all-time great, and he is the most outstanding player of the College World Series. I would imagine he won that award that the media gave out as well, but even just for me, he is the most outstanding player. If it wasn't going to be him, I would have either given it to Jared Jones or to Chase Shores. I'll get Chase Shores' numbers. And tweet them out. But overall, that's a kid who made 4 appearances for you and was nails. Be Cool says, where do you watch games in Destin? In our condo. I ain't going nowhere, bro. I'm just going to watch games in condo. So those would be my 3. I would tell you Anderson, Shores, and Jared Jones. But I'm going to give it to Cade Anderson, and I'm sure the media did as well. I haven't seen that. I watched LSU Dogpile, watched the interview with Anderson and Ianson, and came out here to do the show. Grant asked Cade number 1 overall in the draft. Yeah, why not? The only player I would even consider taking over Cade Anderson is Ethan Holiday. That's it. He's a high school kid. But, I mean, you look what Jackson's done with the Orioles. That's worked out pretty well. It's a good family. Good family, the Holidays, when it comes to playing Major League Baseball. That's the only thing I would consider. Chris says Cade did get the award. He should have. Like, he was awesome, y'all. I mean, that's simply incredible. Typhoid Fever, still one of my favorite handles. Says Portal needs for next year. Home runs. You need power. It was great to see them be able to win in different ways this year. But LSU could have benefited from more power in the lineup. So you need some home runs. You need a first baseman. Ethan Fry, if he decides to come back, we'll get a crack at that for sure. Chase Dardar, who you brought in, played some first base. And Braden Simpson from High Point is also. But you also are going to need a third baseman. You're going to need somebody at second. You need infielders. I'd go get a catcher as well. To back up Aaron Beatty, the depth piece there, and starting pitching. Like, I know that's crazy to say because we all look at Evans and Schmidt, and you're like, oh, that's your 1-2. They're next. But LSU, if they have a guy in the portal, they're going to go get him for a starting pitching. Jay Johnson has added a starting pitcher every offseason in the portal. He will do so again here in the 2025 offseason. So those are really the ones that I would give you. Those are really, really the ones I would give you. Excuse me. Jay Johnson's Orange Juice says, who is underappreciated that was key for us this year? That's easy. It's Luis Hernandez. We talked about it earlier in the show. Hernandez is the X factor. He's the unsung hero of this team all year. Not only what he did at the plate and the clutch hits throughout. Again, this isn't just a recent deal. He was huge for you early in SEC play. It just didn't always show in the average. It showed in the average toward the end. But what he did behind the plate, the beating that good kid took behind the plate all season, and when they were finally able to get Aaron Beatty in there a little bit and take some of the innings off of Hernandez's legs, you saw the offense return. So for me, it's Luis Hernandez, and it's not even really close. I would tell you Zach Cowan would be another one. Cowan was huge. Cooper Williams. Y'all, Cooper Williams had a sub-2 ERA as a freshman and made over 20 appearances for LSU. Like, he was really good. It's a guy you'll have back next year. They aren't done. They aren't done. I'm not going to sit here and predict a repeat, 40 minutes after LSU won a national title. But pretty damn good. Pretty damn good what you got coming back. And there might be a couple guys jumping the portal. I don't know. Grant says, let's not forget Josh Pearson. Yeah. Pearson, great leader, man. Great leader and had some big moments this year for LSU, as he always does. I'm happy that kid got 2 rings. We talk often about program players for LSU, and Josh Pearson's one of them. That's a guy you've seen many, many times come through this program and get multiple rings, and I'm glad Josh Pearson could. I'm glad Jared Jones got multiple rings. Ethan Fry got multiple rings. I love that. Chris says, what a season. Yeah, Chris, what a season. There were times this year where, man, they had to overcome, and they did. This was a normal national championship team. Like, this is what it normally looks like for people. What LSU's done their last 2 championships in 09 and 23, that's not normal. They were dominant. They were the best team in the country all year. This team ends up 53-15. That's 2 50-win seasons in 3 years, 2 championships in 3 years, and a lot of special moments in between. Congratulations to the LSU Fighting Tigers, their 8th national championship in school history, their 2nd in 3 years. Congratulations to Jay Johnson and his staff and his players. And congratulations to all the Tiger fans, too. Omaha sounded incredible this year. And the Box had some really special moments, too. That is a great, great year, y'all. They're all special. Every single one of them. They're all the teams that we remember. This one's no different. This one's no different. Hats off to that team and that program. That's the bounce back you were looking for after 2024. Get right back there. Hell, win it all again. Why not? And LSU did. All right. Y'all smash the like button, please, on your way out. Please share. Follow on social media. This is it for the week. When I get back from vacation, we will pick the content back up for the offseason. But this is it for Musso at the Box this week. I think it's a great time to punctuate it. Again, when I get back, I'll catch up on everything I missed. We'll probably have a really, really long episode. But for now, I'm going to go bask in the glory of a national championship. I'm going to go lay on the beach for, I don't know. B, how many days do we have left? 5? I'm going to go lay on the beach for 5 days, drink a lot of cold beer and probably some margaritas, eat like a pig, and I will see y'all when I get back. Thank you all year for the support, for helping grow this show even more. That means an incredible lot to me, more than I can really express. And I can't wait to do it again when I get back from vacation and into 2026. Appreciate everybody. Go Tigers. Congratulations to the Tigers. See you next time on Musso at the Box.